Hi guys, this is Ayushi, and today I'm gonna talk about International Ozone Preservation Day. There are some points for our discussion. It is a day to raise awareness to protect the ozone layer, or most precisely, we can say stratospheric ozone layer, because ozone layer filters the solar radiation and protects us from harmful ultraviolet radiations, which is not good for human health and for the biosphere and for all. Since it is a matter of global concern, that's why it is celebrated globally. As we know that the International Ozone Preservation Day is celebrated every year on 16th of September. This year for 2025, the theme for Ozone Preservation Day was is from science to global action, which lead to the unity of the global leaders, global countries for the action. The need. What is the need for the celebration of this day? We as humans are called technologically advanced man. Today we use much advanced technologies, and some of them such as refrigerator, air conditioner, aerosols spray release some harmful gases such as uh, hydrochlorofluorocarbon, hydrochlorobromocarbon, methyl tetrachloride, methyl dichloride, oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen. From this emission, gases like bromine, uh, fluorine, and iodine react with the ozone in the ozone layer and cause ozone depletion. Let's take a glance at its history. The history of ozone depletion. It means from when the concern raised. It was during 1980s when much hue and cry was raised. When an expedition of seven scientists marched towards Antarctica, towards South Pole. These scientists noticed that over the Antarctica there was depletion of 50% of ozone layer from August to October during their expedition in the year 1987. And more precisely, over the South Pole, there was depletion of 100% over the South Pole from the year 1985 to 87. There, the concern to save our umbrella, that is our ozone layer, was came into the center. Now let's talk, is ozone good or bad for us? See, ground level ozone, or say the tropospheric ozone, is harmful for us because it is not a natural phenomena, but the ground level ozone is exist because of human activities or anthropogenic activities. So because it is not a natural phenomena, that's why it is a harmful for us. So it is also called bad ozone. But the ozone available in the stratosphere, more densely, it lies above 20 to 35 kilometers above from the sea level. That is also called stratospheric ozone, which acts as an umbrella preventing the ultraviolet solar radiation enter the earth. This stratospheric ozone is known as good ozone. Now let's discuss the structure and functioning of the ozone, or say ozone layer. Ozone is a tri-atomic molecule of oxygen. That is a single molecule of ozone consists three atoms of oxygen, um, that is O3. When the UV rays fall on the uh, atmosphere of the earth, the molecule of oxygen is broken into oxygen molecule and oxygen atoms. That is O3 is broken into O2 plus O in the presence of UV rays O. Again, in the process of ultraviolet rays, the molecular oxygen, that is O2, combines with atomic oxygen, that is O, and again forms the ozone molecule or O3. The first process is known as destruction of ozone, and the second process is known as formation of ozone. This destruction and formation of ozone continues in a cyclic manner. The phenomena of ozone depletion occurs when the rate of destruction exceeds the rate of formation of ozone. This leads to the shortage of ozone molecules in the ozone layer. This is the phenomena of ozone depletion. Now, why it occurs? It happens when the atoms of gases such as chlorine, bromine, fluorine, and iodine reach at the stratospheric ozone layer and combine with the oxygen molecules. When gases such as chlorine, bromine, fluorine, and iodine reach at the stratosphere and react with oxygen molecules, there instead of the formation instead of the formation of ozone, there oxides of halogens are formed. When the halogens keep on reacting, these halogens keep on replacing oxygen molecules from the ozone layer, and thus the cycle of ozone formation and ozone destruction is obstructed. The more they replace the oxygen atoms, the more the shortage of ozone, leading the increasing depletion of ozone. Second thing, the life of ozone is from 4 years to the life of such formed ozone is from 3 to 4 years, but the life of these oxides of halogens are from 40 to 150 years. That is, they remain for a longer period of time in the layer, and thus it becomes a long time threat for us. So, in short, the depletion of ozone means the thinning of ozone. Next point of our discussion is the impact of this ozone depletion or thinning, or the thinning of ozone causes what damages. The UV rays um, cause many diseases for the human health, such as bronchitis, skin cancer, and many other lungs related diseases, and many more. The second impact will be in the form that when more solar radiation will reach the Earth's ground, the glaciers will melt and the sea level will rise, and many coastal lands and islands may submerge, and a great loss of life and human activities we will have to suffer, and we will have to suffer from a great loss of life and prosperity. The third point is the decrease in crop yield. Depletion of ozone will affect the growth year of the plants, which could lead the decrease in the crop yield, and ultimately it will lead to the famine on the earth, and lack of food will present much turmoil in the social and economic at the social and economic levels. The third point is more solar radiation, the temperature increase, and causing global warming, which itself affects many processes on the earth. This may lead to the climate change unnaturally further affects all other processes and affects greatly the species on the earth. Fifth point is the damages in ecosystem. The productivity, the efficiency, and the diversity of the ecosystem will be adversely affected by it. The sixth point is the depletion of ozone affects the organism on the depletion of ozone affects the organisms on the planet, but in general but affects the aquatic organisms in particular. We know that near the poles the temperature is slow, and near the equator the temperature is high. This temperature gradients lead to the global ocean circulation, and not just from pole to equator and equator to poles, but from the ocean surface to the ocean bottom, and from ocean bottom to the ocean surface. This circulation goes on. When the warm water circulates when the warm water circulates, it also causes the flow of oxygen and nutrients from the ocean surface to the ocean bottom for the benthos and some of nectar organisms as well. Due to the increase of temperature near the poles, when this temperature gradient is disturbed, then this ocean water circulation is also disturbed, and the supply of nutrients and oxygen for the benthos organism is also disturbed. So it is thus the aquatic organisms are affected particularly. Seventh point is entered UV rays react very actively with the oxides of nitrogens and sulfurs and other polluting substances available in the lower atmosphere, which causes instability of the lower atmosphere, which further affects all other the natural phenomena, all other the natural process. The next point for of our discussion is measures. It means what steps till has been taken for the preservation of ozone. The very first step was taken in 1987 when the 35 countries signed the Montreal Protocol in 1987 in Montreal, Canada. The goal was set to phase out the production and consumption of ozone depleting substances till 1995 for the developed countries, and till 2010 for the developing countries. This protocol is one of the most successful treaties of the globe, as in 2021 it was declared that the ozone layer has been now replenished, but The goal to phase out the consumption and production of ODS, ozone depleting substances, is still has not been achieved. Now the target has been set to achieve the goal up to 2030. Another conference was held in London in 1989. Now let's have a look at its preservation methods. The first method is reduce, reuse, and recycle the industrial substances by the control of by controlling the production of industrial metals such as plastics. Many policies and rules on local, national, and international levels are formulated, and Montreal Protocol in this regard is much of importance. The second method is finding alternatives for the ODS. The research in this regard should be encouraged to find out the alternatives of the ozone depleting substances. An US uh, company have found that in place of using ferron 12 being as a ferron 12 hydrochlorofluorocarbon being as an harmful substance for the ozone, the use of HFC 134 can be promoted. HFC HFC 134 can be used in this place. Okay, now much we have discussed on this topic. Now me, uh, I I want to answer some questions in this regard. The first the first question is, why do we say ozone preservation day, not ozone conservation day? It means, what is the difference between preservation and conservation? Preservation means to preserve the resources for future use, like preservation of monuments, preservation of graveyards, and others. Preservation involves protection at its current stage and at its current form. But conservation means currently having in use, protect the resources for the future. It means protecting the resources uh, by modifying. It means protecting the resources by modifying it. It refers that the resources should be utilized uh, by the current generation. Uh, the the attempt should be done to make it available for the future generation. This method of protection is also called sustainable protection or sustainable use of resources. The second question is, ozone depleting substances were mainly produced in developed countries, that is in mid latitudes, but why did the ozone hole appeared over the poles or over the South Pole? It is due to the global air circulation. We all know, due to the same temperature gradient between the equator and the poles, the air circulates between these two. The height of ozone layer is much over the height of ozone layer is much over the equator from 20 to 35 kilometers above the earth, but the height of ozone layer over the poles is just near 18, but over the poles it is 15 to 20 kilometers above. Thus the rising air with halogens have much space to flow to the poles flow towards the poles, and they do not accumulate over the equator or the mid latitudes, but these gases are accumulated near the poles, and and due to the low height of ozone layer, they are concentrated there. These concentrated gases, due to lack of much space, uh, react with the ozone molecules more vigorously. That's why the ozone hole was appeared over the south pole. The third question is, what are the seasonal variations in this regard? We know that the mixing of air between equator and poles continues, but during the winter season, the temperature gradient between the equator and the poles is slowed down. Due to it, uh, the mixing of air between these two is also slowed down. Gases from low and mid latitudes keep on rising and are accumulated over the poles in much magnitude comparing to the normal. Due to low temperature and high pressure, uh, these ozone depleting gases are frozen over the poles in a more quantity during the winters. So the during the winter, the depletion of ozone is more than the normal or the summer days. Ozone is a natural sun screen for us, and being as a part of our planet, it is our duty to save the planet. It is our duty to make the other parts sustain and flourish, because these ultimately flourish our lives. So, a little awareness and action from your side should be done to let your beauty flourish. This is the whole, and thank you.